The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good. How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Good morning. I'm Nico Haan. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world.
So we can recover our health, our rights, and our freedoms. And I'm Paige Clarke.
And it's a beautiful morning in downtown Clearwater, 79 degrees, sun is shining. We're going to have a little afternoon shower here and there, and that's normal for July.
It sure is. I told you last night I went out for a friend's birthday on a sailboat.
Sailing is one of the, of course, being Dutch, we're all about sailing.
Oh, sure.
And I was practically raised on a sailboat with my grandfather in Holland. And I remember those days, and still today I have a real passion for the sea and the sail.
Yes.
Because it's a whole different thing, sailing rather than motoring.
It's completely different, and I was really reminded of that yesterday. I thought, geez, everyone should get on the water at sunset and enjoy it. It was just wonderful.
Well, it's just a natural rhythm to the wind and the waves and our bodies.
And the sound of the sails.
Yeah,
the
and we're going to kind of talk about stuff like that with the natural rhythms, because the topic for today is really all about sleep.
Sure. What the bleep about sleep?
That's right. So if you want to have any questions or any suggestions for the show, you can contact me at nico@tfnn.com.
And me at Paige at tfnn.com. And we're taking your questions at 1-877-927-6648.
That's correct. So if you're having trouble sleeping, you're in good company. According to the National Commission on Sleep Disorders Research, at least 40 million Americans suffer from chronic, long-term sleep disorders, and another 20 to 30 million experience occasional sleep problems. That's a lot of people.
Absolutely, Nico. And the thing about it is even minimal sleep loss can take a toll on your mood, your energy, your health, and your efficiency and your ability to get things done, handle stress. So ignoring sleep problems and disorders can lead to poor health, weight gain, accidents, impaired job performance, and relationship strain because you're just not feeling like yourself.
Yeah, and it makes sense because, of course, we're supposed to be sleeping 7-8 hours, pretty normal.
Kind of following the sun.
Kind of following the sun, and I think that even teenagers have a completely different rhythm. I remember when I was a teenager, and now we pretty well know this, and this is one of our tragedies in our society because teenagers need to sleep in, and they usually generally up late.
Yeah, we're wrapping the school system around the convenience of the school system, not the way
around our economy.
Right, not the way our children.
Yeah, instead of the loving, caring
function.
thing, we wrap it around economy, and that's a problem in our society because everything pretty much is wrapped around our economy. That comes first, before health, before our sleep, before our children. It's pretty tragic in a sense.
And let me just share this with you. We are bioelectrical, natural biological machines, so to speak, and we operate on a circadian rhythm, meaning we follow the clock. We have a time, and all of the organs, glands, and systems of our bodies have a certain time that they do certain functions. And when you get proper sleep, you keep that going in the right way. It's just
and there's
important.
nothing better than having that rhythm feeling because, I mean, usually in the morning, you have your little thing, whether if you eat breakfast or you don't eat breakfast doesn't really make difference, but, you generally clean yourself up, maybe you take a shower, you're shaving or not, as I'm not doing right now, but also you're going to the bathroom at a certain time.
Oh, yeah, that whole cleaning and repair and removing waste happens.
And if you don't, that kind of disrupts, and you're thinking, why didn't I? And the same with sleep. If you're waking up, you're thinking, what the heck is wrong with me? So if you're experiencing occasional sleep problems, you really need to, feel if they're normal or not. Many people are having this problem, and if you're struggling, you need to find out if it's a sleep disorder or it's something that's just going to pass. And
because it's not really normal to feel sleepy during the day or to have problems getting to sleep at night. These are all signs and symptoms that you're off. Your system's off.
So you really should start by scrutinizing your symptoms and look especially at the telltale daytime signs of sleep deprivations. So let's go over some of these.
Yeah, so do you feel irritable or sleepy during the day?
I know a lot of people that are. Having difficulty to stay awake while sitting still, watching TV or reading.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people that as soon as they get horizontal, they're out.
Yeah.
Although that gives you another clue. That's a little thyroid hint, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah, if you get horizontal or, you're driving in a car and you always want to fall asleep, these are all, I think, signs of potential thyroid issues,
that's
too.
a dangerous thing. If you fall asleep or feel very tired while driving, just you mentioned, and have difficulty concentrating, often get told by others that you look tired. That's definitely a clue right there.
Yeah, that's kind of a clue right there for sure. Or if your reactions are slow and you have trouble controlling your emotions and feel emotional, I think that's a really strong indicator that sometimes you have to self-reflect. Because many times when you start to feel emotional, it's just you're just not rested.
Okay. And if you feel like you have to take a nap almost every single day, in our society we really don't take naps that often. Some people do, the children do. But if you go down to the Mexican border, then you find people starting to take siestas. For them, that's more normal than it would be for us because they live in a little bit different climate.
And a lot of times they work a lot longer day, too. They take this afternoon siesta, and then, or even in European places that kind of close down for that nice extended lunchtime. They'll keep their shops and businesses open in 7, 8, 9,
Yeah.
Although we do that, too, with our malls.
Yeah, we do
We're
that,
24-hour.
So the most common type of sleep disorder is insomnia, is the inability to get to sleep or sleep well at night. It is an all too common sleeping problem. In fact, it's probably the most common sleep complaint that people get.
We often look at things like, do you have trouble falling asleep or do you have trouble staying asleep? And as we've learned in quantum reflex analysis, that really the gallbladder's involved there.
Okay.
And we can tell a lot about what's going on with your ability to stay asleep, fall asleep, by checking the gallbladder point. And giving some gallbladder support, we find people's sleep improves.
So that sends to me an idea that it may be involved in digestion then. Bingo!
For me, everything comes back to digestion.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, digestion, and one of the great reasons to really try and curb your eating to a much earlier time before you actually do go to sleep, so that your body can spend that time while you're sleeping doing its house cleaning functions, not digesting your last meal. It can't get around to renewing your DNA if it's busy working on that pork chop you ate at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, your body, just like we can only do a couple of things at the same time. Our body struggles if we're digesting food. There's no doubt about it, and you're trying to sleep.
I know we've got something great to show at the break.
Yeah.
But I wanted to just say too, another thing we've known is that the adrenals are an organ that are very involved in quality sleep. You need great salt, you need vitamin C, you need 5 straight hours of sleep, and you need to try and get good B vitamins, good source B vitamins, live source, methylated, fully reduced forms.
On our telestrator here, I have a little picture of a group. This is a sleep prevention group, and they look into all kinds of disorders. This gentleman here is
sleep prevention? Oh, you mean improving?
Improving, so exactly. And he's going to be talking after the break. Got a little 2-minute segment about the sleep perpetuators.
Oh.
In other words, things that you do while you're sleeping or not sleeping that perpetuate the problem.
Okay.
Very interesting talk.
Awesome.
So we'll
have that right after our break.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
And please pick up our health newsletter. I'm working on one for coming Tuesday, and it's all about this sleep also and the other things we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. So very interesting stuff that you can really dig into. So pick up some Primal Edge, pick up that, and we'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
There's a word I came across in preparing for the show, perpetuators. Things that perpetuate bad sleep. I loved it. I thought that was because it really explained what perpetuates the problem. What are those things that someone can do to figure out what their perpetuators are and then start changing them?
Okay, so you're right, because this is actually key to fixing an insomnia problem. So there's really like 4 different kinds of things that perpetuate sleep problems. One of them are things that people do to try to get extra sleep at night when they know they're not sleeping well. So this could be going to bed early, like you suggested. This could be sleeping in the next morning. This could be drinking alcohol to try to help yourself sleep. So things you do to try to see, maybe I'll get some extra sleep tonight. The second kind are things that you do during the day to make up for the fact that you had a bad night of sleep last night. So this would be take a nap, this would be drink caffeine, things like that. The third type of perpetuating factor are things that you do in bed when you're not sleeping. Generally, it's at time when you would rather be sleeping, but it doesn't even have to be. So generally, things you do in bed when you're not sleeping. This could be read, watch TV, play on the computer or the iPad. For a lot of people with sleep problems, it's stress. They really worry, problem solve, ruminate, that sort of stuff in bed. And then the fourth type of perpetuating factor is untreated medical or psychological problems that disrupt your sleep. And the big problem with all of these things is they lead to a condition where you are in bed and you're awake. And so what happens is you start pairing together, I'm in bed, I'm awake. I'm in bed, I'm awake. I'm in bed, I'm awake. And pretty soon your brain learns that the bed is a place to be awake, not a place to be asleep. And this is now what has created something called conditioned arousal, which steamrolls the insomnia and really keeps it going.
You want to be conditioned, like I think most people know, the Pavlovian bell rings the dog's saliva.
That's exactly right.
You want to be conditioned when you get into bed, you go to sleep.
Right. And with insomnia, the condition is usually 180 degrees from that. They get into bed and they're wide awake worrying.
Okay, so that was a little thing. The only thing I got from that was really that we do things in bed that will perpetuate these things, and then we think it's normal.
Yes.
But I think the arousal part, perpetual arousal, might be
You
pretty
like
good.
that idea?
Yeah, I like that idea, yeah.
Well,
And by the way, this whole talk, this is like a 20, 30-minute talk, and the whole thing is going to be in the next newsletter
Great.
Along with these articles.
I think that's what's great about our newsletter is that we spend hours during the week finding news you can really use and trying to put it into a really pleasant format. So if you're not getting the newsletter, make sure you
Well,
get
this
that.
is where our show really comes from, digging into these articles, and we want you to see the original articles so you can kind of make up your own mind. I mean, we're authorities in a certain way because we're living this way, but you've got to convince yourself, which means you need to read both sides of the stories many times. So let's go on with this. Insomnia, probably the most common one.
Yeah, I really thought it was great the way he laid out
Okay.
those 5 sleep, poor sleep perpetuators.
Yes.
And what you can see is that a lot of those things are really within your control, somewhat.
And they're also part of our modern sleeping habits, probably our
How many
old.
people have the TV and they get into bed and they have
Yeah,
that
I don't have a
blue-
TV in our bedroom.
all the light. I never watch TV. Well, I really don't watch TV
Mm-hmm.
much at all. But I am guilty of this. But I really don't do much reading of this in the bed. I use this to kind of get, I enjoy my reading, but then when I go there, I like to create an environment where I'm thinking about sleeping.
Yeah, true.
I'm very lucky. I don't typically have a lot of trouble with sleep, but I want to go over some of the things that he said. So we learned some things that we can change, but let's understand the circadian rhythm that's related to sleep disorders. And we all have an internal biological clock, as I mentioned earlier, that regulates our 24-hour sleep schedule. And the circadian rhythm is very important to understand because it's actually light is the primary clue that
Yeah, that makes
influences our
sense.
circadian rhythm, and just as when the sun rises and when the sun sets. We stay awake in our lifestyle many hours past what our ancestors probably did. They may have had a taps right when the sun went down, and
Right.
pretty much it was lights out, right?
Yeah, I think so. It makes sense to me. Of course, having a campfire and getting around there, that kind of sets the whole stage for it because that's the crackling of the fire, having your people around, and slowly but surely people go off and say, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. The other thing is that, of course, if you're in different parts of the world, so in the summertime, you're going to have a lot more hours of sunshine, which means you probably sleep less during the summer.
Yes.
Maybe that's where the naps came in if you're not sleeping as much at night, maybe you catch up during the day in the summertime in those latitudes.
And then
Just-
in the winter time, you've got a longer sleep period.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of wisdom to be following nature's clues. And when your circadian rhythm is disrupted or thrown off, you're going to feel groggy, disoriented, and sleepy at inconvenient times. And the circadian rhythm has been linked to a lot of sleep problems.
Yeah,
And
definitely have. Insomnia, jet lag, shift work, sleep difficulties, and this is another one of those abnormal rhythms that we get into if you're working nights. If you're working a shift job or we're working part of a night, it takes a lot getting used to, and maybe you never really get used to it. I'm not sure.
yeah,
I've done
I think that
very
working the opposite shift is very stressful on the body. As a result, many times these people don't get adequate release of their melatonin, and melatonin it's just such an important natural hormone for anti-aging and for repair, not just sleep.
Yeah, and this is really another one of those things that our modern society has put upon us mostly. If we didn't have an economy that's based on profit and huge profits as we have today, we wouldn't need shift work because anybody could work whenever they wanted to, pretty much.
Yeah, because we're working 24 hours. That is so true. And I do worry about that because I have some loved ones that do work
Yeah.
later hours, and I know that that's a real struggle. So here's a couple of things that you can do to reduce the impact of shift work.
Okay.
You can take regular breaks and minimize the frequency of shift changes. That's one thing.
Okay.
And-
When changing shifts, so you can request a shift that's later rather than earlier, as it's easier to adjust forward in time rather than backwards. And I see this when I go
Jet
out
lag,
west.
yeah. Right.
Going west is no problem. Coming back east, problem.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and so, in fact, I find going to Europe is
Oh.
exhausting the first day.
Yeah.
But when you come back, you just kind of get back into sync. So, yeah,
Exactly.
same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same thing.
Natural light regulates your sleep-wake cycle by increasing your light exposure at work using bright lights when you are working. and limiting the light exposure when it's time to sleep. Really, if you do work a shift, really work to get darkening curtains, room darkening curtains, so that when you do have those times to sleep, even if it is during daylight hours, that you can get the benefit of a dark room.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things you can do in that dark room too, like incense, use lavender on yourself, have a sound machine. These are all really things that we use. We don't use the sound machine unless we're away, but we have a fan that's going that we can hear, a small little fan in the corner. It gives that kind of same rhythmic feeling that it really feels good when you climb into bed and you hear that. Everything is good.
Yeah. I want to hear this, discuss this. It's important to note that that sleeping problem is more than just a preference for staying up late or being a night owl. People with delayed sleep phase disorder, this is another phase we didn't really go over, but this is when your 24-hour clock is completely out of kilter, and as a result, you go to sleep and wake up much later than other people. For example, you may not get to sleep until 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's
and
a
then
bummer.
you may
I've
not.
had that happen.
You may sleep soundly till noon, and you have a crazy. That's got to be a tough situation to even handle a regular job.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll come back and talk some more about sleep.
Yeah, it's not tough ordering our Primal Edge. You can go right to the TFNN.com websites and order our Primal Edge. Get that every month for $89, and believe me, you're going to like this stuff because it really does what it says it does. So Paige and I will be right back. The number here is 877-927-6648.
You've heard Nico Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And hey there, you're listening to Living a Primal Lifestyle. We're talking about sleep. Let's talk about jet lag, because this is a real insult to our natural circadian rhythm. And I think, Nico, maybe you can share some some information about it. It's really a temporary disruption in the circadian rhythm, and it occurs when you fly, into different time zones. And the symptoms can go on just as we've mentioned. But do you have some tips for us on?
Well,
what you should do?
generally, I think it takes 1 day per time zone cross to adjust to the local time. So if you flew from Los Angeles to New York City or to Tampa, as where we are, you're crossing 3 time zones. So it could take 3 days, and that's pretty much how I feel. But like we said earlier, if you go the other way, doesn't seem to be, and I think that's because it's going forward. It doesn't really matter too much to you. You don't play catch up. You're already there, and usually you're on vacation. Even if it's business, it's a different type of rhythm that you're into. And I think the adjustment is pretty good. It's the time that you come back.
Well, I suggest here you can reduce your jet lag by changing your bedtime to kind of accommodate what's going on. So when you travel, it usually takes time for this internal clock to reset. But if you feel like you're getting tired or hungry at the wrong hours and want to go to sleep at inopportune times, there's ways to reset it.
Yeah, well, first I want to mention that jet lag can be worse if you do have the following things. You lose sleep during travel, and that's on the way back. That's what happens. On the way there, you don't really lose the sleep.
Right.
You're under a lot of stress. You go in a business meeting, you're not ready for it. That's another thing. Drinking too much alcohol or coffee while you're on that plane, they feed you those things. I never take those.
No, that's
really
it. You're already dehydrated by being on the plane.
And the other thing is you don't move around during the flight. So if you can get up, move around a little bit, see a lot of people doing this, it really does help.
Yeah, it certainly does.
So how do you reset the internal clock?
Well, here's some tips to help you adjust. You can switch as rapidly as possible upon arrival. On a long trip, don't turn in until it's bedtime in the new time zone. For the first day or two, spend as much time outdoors as possible to let the daylight reset your clock. So work with Mother Nature.
Yeah, and use the sun. If you need to wake up earlier in the new setting, flying from west to east, get out in the early morning sun. You can wake up a little bit better. If you're flying up later, if you're going later, then you're flying east to west, and you expose yourself to the afternoon sunlight. So exposing yourself to our sunlight, the sun of the world.
Right.
I mean, it just makes sense, doesn't
yes,
it?
It's pretty primal.
Yeah, and no wonder people worship the sun.
And make sure you drink plenty of fluids, and that's not just caffeine and alcohol, folks.
No, in fact, not those.
Right, right. Those are going to dehydrate and also throw off your time. See, the issue with alcohol is so many people use it to sleep at night, but it actually becomes a stressor for the liver.
Yeah.
Because the liver says, hey, I was supposed to work on cleaning up stuff, and now you've thrown this at me.
Yeah,
and I got to process.
That's the most toxic right there.
When people tell me, that they're waking up at 3 o'clock, I have them take a look at, their alcohol consumption, because that's usually an indicator you have a little bit more than your normal amount. You may find yourself waking up at 3. And also, don't time shift. On a brief trip, just 1 or 2 time zones away, it may be possible to wake up, eat, and sleep on home time. If so, schedule appointments for times when you would be alert if you were in your own time zone. So that's a great way to do it.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, if you go to California, if we went to California, we wouldn't want to schedule a 7 a.m. meeting, because that would be like, 4 a.m. to us.
Right.
So it'd be better to try. That's a great tip.
Yeah, so you need to plan ahead, for sure. The other types of sleep disorders, the first one here is sleep apnea, and that's a big problem. And this is where, if I'm understanding it, something closes up in your throat, and you don't take a breath for a while, and then pretty soon your body is going, what the heck is going on?
Yeah,
and
it interrupts
you kind of wake up.
this breathing disruption interrupts your sleep in general.
A lot of people have this. Of course, if you're living alone, that can be a real problem because you may not wake up.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a scary situation. And a lot of people are getting tests to find out if they have sleep apnea, because they're not aware if they do or not.
A lot of times you do, because you'll make a large noise getting that air in there, and and you'll wake yourself up.
Yeah.
So that's a clue right there if you're doing that.
Yeah, they hear some symptoms of sleep apnea: loud, chronic snoring, frequent pauses in breathing during sleep, gasping, snorting, or choking during sleep, feeling exhausted after waking, or waking up with shortness of breath, chest pains, headaches, nasal congestion.
Yeah,
or
no
dry
matter how
throat.
much time you spend in bed, you're still feeling exhausted. That's a clear sign right there. And the shortness of breath, like you said.
Yeah, so that's something you want to get some help
Yeah,
with.
and this is just a small segment of this, and there's a lot more information that'll be in the newsletter, so you can dig a little deeper for the symptoms and the treatments, the causes, and the cures of sleep apnea.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next one is interesting, restless leg syndrome.
I thought that was just created to sell a drug, which may or may not be true.
Is that like when the dog is His leg is going a million miles an hour, and he's
It's the
doing
urge
REM
to
sleep.
move when you're resting or lying down is usually due to uncomfortable, tingly, aching, or creeping sensations. I suggest perhaps magnesium deficiency may be at play with
Okay.
restless leg syndrome. So if you know anyone, it might be a good idea. They may be running high on stress and low on minerals.
Well, magnesium plays a real role in sleep, doesn't it?
Makes a big
Yeah.
role in sleep.
Yeah.
So again, this is a symptom indicating a nutritional issue,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
shortage of something the body needs. And so that's something that you might want to take a look at. But narcolepsy is also a sleep disorder that involves excessive, uncontrollable daytime sleepiness. And it's caused by dysfunction of the brain, the mechanism that controls the sleeping and waking. And that's a scary disorder. You know, people can just be sitting there talking to you and all of a sudden they fall asleep. So
Yeah.
the switch is definitely off.
If you're sleeping at work, it's not good. That's,
Yeah.
that's not the way you want your boss walking in seeing you do that, like in Dagwood and Blondie, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right,
you know,
exactly.
He's always sleeping there. So.
Oh yeah, maybe he had narcolepsy.
Or maybe
he must
so.
have.
Maybe the cartoonist had.
Yeah, he might have been expressing himself.
Exactly right. Okay, common signs and symptoms of narcolepsy include seeing or hearing things when you're drowsy and starting to dream about them before you're fully asleep. Interesting. Suddenly feeling weak or losing control over your muscles when you're laughing, angry, or experiencing other strong emotions. Oh, that's very interesting.
Feeling paralyzed and unable to move when you're waking or dozing off. So again, folks, these are signs that it really comes back to you're not getting the right sleep.
Yeah, and then dreaming right away after you're going to sleep and having intense dreams. Now, have you ever had that the dream where you're asleep and you want to wake up and you can't seem to wake up? That's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
So some of the self-help programs that you can get into for these sleep disorders, they're out there. The first step is to overcoming sleep problems, identifying and carefully tracking your symptoms and your sleep patterns. So that
There's an app for that too.
There's an app for that. That's
There's
the beautiful
lots of
part.
apps for sleep.
Yeah, and so keep a sleep diary, and an app probably is the easiest way to do it.
I've been a little intrigued with them. Stephen at Healthy Fit Club, he's got with the Healthy Fit Club where he's testing this, a sleep app and looking
Well,
at
they're
this.
interesting because they tell you how long you can be in REM sleep. Some of these apps do.
I'd like to know how they know that. There's a sensor they put on the bed and it says it picks up pressure. We're going to be researching this a little bit more.
I know.
So we'll
The
be
Healthy
reporting.
Fit Club is doing a lot of neat things, and I'm excited about that. So keeping a diary is really important. You need to include what time you went to bed and what time you woke up, naturally, the total sleep hours and perceived quality of your sleep. So you give it a 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 ratio if you want to. A record time you spend awake and what you did, stayed in bed with your eyes closed, for example. So anything that you did in bed, or you had to get up and get a glass of water or a drink, or you had to pee.
And these
or
can all be
whatever.
clues to what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's important to just improve your sleep hygiene and daytime habits. And
Yeah, I want to get this in first because the types of and amounts of food and liquid and caffeine is really important. So let's pick this up afterwards because I think what you eat has something to do with how you sleep.
and when you eat it.
That's
So
right.
we got to
We'll
take a
be
break right
folks.
now.
Yeah, the number here is 877-927-6648 and pick up my Health Signals newsletter, please. We'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive.
We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks, and we're talking about sleep, and we're talking about keeping a diary, and just an example here.
Yeah, if you get the newsletter, we're going to put this diary in there. It's really a daytime activities and pre-sleep ritual spot where you can really analyze what's going on and what might be impacting your quality of sleep.
Yeah, and also get you some links to some apps that you can download if you want to go that route. So
saves you lots of times, folks, because we kind of hack out the important stuff.
Yeah, so the other thing is your feelings that you need to put in there, your feelings and your moods before bed, because you need to, your happiness, sadness, stress, anxiety, you need to put that down. And of course, the last thing, any drugs or medication that you're taking, including the dose and the time of consumption. These details are important, revealing how certain behaviors can be ruining your chances for a good night's sleep. So you need to keep this for at least a week.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a really great idea.
Now, how to improve?
Yes, we just mentioned keeping a regular sleep schedule and making sure you set enough time aside for sleep. I think a lot of people look at sleep like it's some type of privilege, almost create a sense of guilt for people. Well, I don't have the luxury of sleeping as much as you do, or they do. I'm too busy to sleep.
Yeah.
I think it's really important that we make our sleep a big priority.
It's a big priority, and people in our modern world really are lacking enough sleep, I do believe. Our children are, certainly, because their sleep patterns completely disrupted, because they go to bed a lot later, supposedly. If they can.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're always forcing them and get to bed. Yeah, how come you're still up?
Yeah.
So we're punishing our kids for not getting in their natural rhythm, or for getting in their natural rhythm. So it's not a good thing.
That's kind of interesting. I wonder why, as teenagers, they just really don't feel like going to bed till later, and we feel like they really need to.
Well, I think it's, if you look at it from a primal point of view, I'm thinking they're more inquisitive, they're excited about new things, and that gets the body going. So they're always discovering, and they're learning new things, and that learning curve, I think, is really high, and that gets their anxiety and everything, inquisitiveness up, and I think that's their natural way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when I was a kid, studying at night was never a problem, especially late at night. I could study from 10 till midnight at any time I wanted to until I was in my 20s.
Oh, when I was a teenager, I would study late, or I would, clean out my closet and organize everything. That was when I was very productive.
No, I would go to, pretend going to sleep because my parents would want me in bed at 10 o'clock or whatever the time was. And then for the next hour and a half, I'd be under the covers playing with my toys, or in the closet doing that, or whatever, sneaking outside. I've done that too. So I'm a real primal guy, I'll tell you that. Okay, let's talk about then, do sleeping pills actually help you here? Because we talked about turning off your computer and making sure your bedroom is dark and making sure you have enough time and going to bed at the right time, waking up at the right time. So now you still have this problem. What are you going to do?
Well, this is the thing. Sleeping pills, like all medications, are never meant to be a permanent solution. And we have millions of people today that are relying on medications and sleeping pills to get their sleep, and that's just not wise. But it's tough because they really need their sleep. So look for other ways. A lot of the tips we've shared with you today will help you reclaim your ability to nurture good sleep, and also explore natural herbs and so forth, and homeopathic flower essences and essential oils. These things are clinically proven to help with sleep, and they're much healthier for you.
And there's other drugs that we take too for like quitting smoking. I forget what the name, Ambient, I think is one of these.
Ambient is a sleep pill.
Oh, it's a sleep pill.
Yeah.
A lot of these drugs have problems where you eat when you're sleeping because you're trying to get off of smoking. So, you've got to talk about these also and do some digging yourself, because these things can make you more sleepy, make you eat during sleeping, make you sleepwalk. It's a nightmare. But taking care of the sleeping pills is a huge thing. So when you're taking sleeping pills and one doesn't work, your tendency may be to take another one. Don't do that.
And I think so many people will have an alcoholic beverage or something, and then when they start having the sleeping pills and alcohol, this creates just a vicious circle. It's not wise.
And the other thing is, of course, if you're taking a sleeping pill, use it, get into bed. Don't start driving your car or using machinery, or go back out and try to chop down a tree or something like that. It's probably pretty dangerous. So when do you call a doctor about sleep disorder? And more important, I think, what type of doctor are you going to seek out? Because, this Drummond group is a real sleep clinic. And there's a lot of sleep clinics around, so that gives you a kind of idea how prevalent this really is. When you have sleep clinics all over the United States, we know we have a huge problems with people not getting enough sleep.
And I think, too, like I was just thinking about people not getting enough sleep, but it's like the city, what's the saying about New York City? The city that never sleeps. Just look at that bustle. Look at that, all those lights and those neon lights. So the lights, it's like,
well, it's all about economy. It's not just pretty lights to be.
Oh no, lights. There's a money reason. I think about. I was just visualizing that. Think about like Tucson. That's a city that doesn't have a lot of city lights. They have some kind of. Tucson, Arizona area has something.
Well,
going
have their
on.
Lower lights.
Yeah, they have
along the streets.
and so really it can be quite dark when you're driving along a street. They don't have street lights and stuff. I think that's kind of cool.
Well, our neighborhood just put up street lights, and it's a two-faceted thing. Of course, it's nice to look out there and you're safe because you don't see anybody on the street. But it does interrupt, I think, your natural. Of course, those little gas light type of things are really nice. They're good looking. But I think we have too much light. If we were in more of a primal setting, certainly it would be pitch dark. And you do get used to it. I know visiting friends up in Michigan and Indiana, many times I go to their farm and, it's pitch dark. We go for a walk at night and don't carry a flashlight. It takes you about 10 minutes to start getting used to it, and then you can see things. And it's kind of neat.
And that's a very interesting thing, because I think that has a lot to do with your visual acuity at night. I think many of us have lost our ability to see at night because we're not used to that dark black. But that's another thing that might be involved, or some heavy metal toxicity, and also nutritional things like vitamin A that can help with your night vision.
So let's talk about a few things that we call like scientific hacks to help you get to sleep.
Yeah, let's hack this sleep thing.
And one of them is called use the 90-minute rule. When you sleep, your brain cycles through different stages, each lasting about 90 minutes. You will feel the most refreshed when you wake up at the end of a 90-minute sleep cycle, and you will be closest to your normal waking state.
And as I hear that, I'm like, okay, so how do we do that? Well,
exactly.
you say to yourself, I'm going to wake up at the completion of one of my great 90-minute sleep cycles, and so it is. And you get your brain to think that way.
Yeah, and you can also, if you count backwards, for example, if you want to get up at 7 o'clock, try falling asleep at that 90-minute interval. So that would be either 11:30 or 10 p.m. So if you get up 2 hours earlier than that.
Calculate it backwards.
Calculate it backwards. And that does seem to work because I've done that myself.
So here's something. If you want to nap, do it between 1 and 3. So again, we're seeing these circadian blocks. And, if you take a nap between these times, you may have less afternoon lethargy.
Yeah, naps normally 20, 30 minutes I find are the most refreshing for me. I wake up, boom. If they're a little bit longer, then I'm kind of groggy. So that makes a lot of sense. This is kind of interesting. Drink a cup of coffee before a quick nap. Coffee takes 20 minutes to get going, so downing an espresso immediately before a short nap will mean it kicks in as you're waking up, making you extra alert.
Hey, that's a new one.
Cool,
Yeah,
yes.
so if you've got to do round 2 in the afternoon, there you go.
Yep.
Well, we got to take a short break, but we'll be back and share more hacks to helping you feel better by getting better sleep.
That's right, and pick up our Primal Edge, pick up our newsletter, and you'll be all set to go to do some research and feeling really good about yourself. So we'll be right back, folks.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors. Join John Logan as he teaches you trading techniques utilizing the TAS Profile Scanner. The Global Market Pulse, next on TFNN.
Welcome back, and we're talking about hacking our sleep, and one of the things that we want to do is get some exercise. And during the week, we've always said probably 2.5 hours of exercise is plenty. Even less if you do the sprinting, the type of burst exercises.
Keep in mind, folks, that too much exercise interrupts the circadian rhythm, which is the cortisol secretion is really heavily impacted. That's how we test cortisol.
Right.
And too much exercise, too much intensity can definitely affect sleep.
Especially the later in the day it is,
Absolutely.
for sure. Avoid bright screens. This is common sense, and we pretty well know this. And
We know there's apps that you can reduce those screens.
Not on mobile devices yet, but it's supposed to be coming this summer sometime, the eFlux, which I use on my Mac, which works really well. Use neutral sounds to tackle any noise pollution. We mentioned that. Really important thing you can do, and it's easy
Sometimes white
these
noise,
days.
people really enjoy that. Really helps
Yeah,
kind of trigger
waterfalls,
that.
rain, any forest, yeah. Another thing, if your feet get too cold, and they mine do once in a while, sometimes they get too hot, so you can...
That's me. My feet get hot. I
do
don't
they?
have
Yeah, I kind of do is stick them out to the end or put a sock on it. That works really well.
I kind of have to go back and forth.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works, too. Have a bath just before bed. That's always nice and relaxing.
That's a super tip.
Yeah.
And use it as an opportunity to remineralize. You can add some Epsom salts, add some lavender.
Yeah. This next one, I'm not sure of. List your problems and how you might solve them. I think if you use them in that conjunction, but if you just list the problems, I think that's a problem in itself. So list the problem and then figure out how you can solve that
Well, I
problem.
think why that works, Nico, is because so many people lay in bed and they start ruminating about these things. So if you say, I'm going to have a pad, I'm going to write them down so I don't have to think about them.
Right.
That might actually be like you're
it's kind of putting them in the
removing the
closet.
interference.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Eat a small carb-filled supper before bed. That's a good idea. I use a little honey, and that works really well for me. Introducing something like lavender sent to your bedroom, which we do, works really well. Use your bedroom for sleep and sex only, very important. And if you wake in the middle of the night, don't fall asleep within 20 minutes, get up and move around. So this is contrary to a lot of other people who are saying don't lift your head up, like I think Dr. Marshall said that.
Yeah, Dr. Marshall's belief is that we need 5 straight hours. This is particularly if it's 5 straight hours, so that could be the thing. If it's less than 5 straight hours since you fell asleep, his recommendation is to not lift the head off the pillow. The lifting of the head off the pillow signals the adrenals to stop producing adrenaline, which is so important for that morning energy. And
So if to go to the bathroom, you could crawl.
actually, he actually suggests if you have to go to the bathroom, hold it. If you
Oh,
haven't
really?
been asleep 5 straight hours, I mean, yeah, because that's a sign that, and it really, over a certain small amount of time, you'll correct yourself. If you don't, but if you constantly get up, how many people get up to urinate and then they do it forever, right?
Yeah.
Because they keep getting up and doing it. Yeah. So, work out how much you sleep and how much you actually need every night. Everyone's got their sweet spot. What's your sweet spot? How much sleep?
Mine's about 7.5.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And if it's so funny because I wake up at 7:11. If I had my choice, my body would like to wake up at 7:11, which is
Maybe
not,
that's how they came up with the name.
yeah, right. That could be.
So sleep is so important, folks. It's one of the things that is disrupted in our modern living in many, many different ways, and you need to find out how to solve this problem for yourself. All these articles are going to be included in my next newsletter, along with videos and different links you can find where they actually get this information from, so you can kind of dig a little bit deeper. A lot of cool little tips in there. There'll be some videos that you can watch, along with some links to where you can find out how to solve these problems, get the apps, things like that.
There's such a connection with our sleep and our longevity and our longevity. It's during these sleeping hours that our hormones for restorative work and repair happen. So this is important stuff, and we're glad to share this information with you.
Thanks for sticking around, folks. Don't forget to pick up, or just remember to pick up the Health Signals newsletter, pick up some Primal Edge for yourself, and we'll see you next time.
Have a super day.
Thanks.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.